Hey there, AfterBuzzers. Welcome to the Magician's After Show. We're talking about Season 3, the finale. We have special guests in the house, and this finale, we need to talk about it because there's so many things. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
And cue the creepy song. We're like, woo, yeah.
That ending, though.
Yeah.
I can't.
Oh my goodness.
It's emotional.
So this is the Magician's After Show. We're talking about episode 13, the finale. We'll go down our host line and let you know about our special guest. My name is Kari Lane.
I'm Joelle Monique.
I'm Yael Tygiel, sitting in for Ty.
Woo!
I'm Adrian Snow. Hello.
And welcome our special guests. We got Jade Tailor and Brittany Curran back. Woo! Yeah. Let's raise the roof. Welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So, Jade, you hadn't seen the finale. How was
not.
it watching it?
It was amazing. It was so much fun. I mean, it just brings you back to the moments, and yeah, it was. I think they did an incredible job putting it together. Everything from like I kept turning to Britt and being like, VFX, like VFX were so great, and I just kept saying it, and I'm really proud of the season. I'm proud of like our creators, our writers, everyone that's involved in it. It's just amazing to see the fan feedback, the excitement, and the upset after what happened tonight.
Yeah.
But it means they're impacted and they're invested in it that much to care that much. So that's what really, it's really special.
Mm-hmm. And then, panel, what were some of your quick thoughts on the finale?
Yeah.
This might be my favorite season. Cute. I'm so proud of Baby Boy's growth. Like, he's really coming along. Like, inspiring amount of growth. And yeah, to your point, VFX team really outdid themselves.
Yes.
Not just during the season, but the final shot of the Black Spire was just, it was incredible.
God,
so yeah, I loved
Gorgeous.
it.
Yeah, they did an incredible job.
I was real annoyed for a lot of this episode. I had a lot of complaints, and we will get to them.
Yes.
Y'all coming in hot.
Yeah.
I'm angry. I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
They will be shared.
Adrian?
So the first time I watched it, I mean, I don't throw things, but if I could have thrown something, I'd be like, what the fuck? What is this shit? I have to watch this again because half of it I didn't even understand. And so I went back and watched it again. And then when I watched it the second time, I was like, oh, okay. I think I can understand this a little bit better. Okay, I'm still kind of annoyed, but
Adrian, I was watching the end while they were just starting the episode, and I freaked out so bad at the end. They were like, spoilers! Shut up! Don't give it away! I'm like, you don't understand.
She's like,
my
I'm so
emotions."
angry. And we're like, stop it.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
the emotions that came
You guys
out.
sound just like our fans on Twitter tonight.
yeah, they were angry too.
I had to get off Twitter. I was seeing like even the actors' tweets and people retweeting.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't. I don't.
And then just the realization, I was like, oh, so the Magician's just never going to be like, happy season finale. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I understand.
Maybe the series
Now I
finale
know
will
what
be
it is.
3 seasons in, and you just figured that out.
Listen. Even occasionally, Buffy gave you a nice season finale, okay? Just a nice little, oh, okay, this could be nice. Not like a, hey, P.S., everything you thought was going to happen.
It's terrible.
Just
It's
gonna
a
rip out your
dark,
little
dark
heart.
world.
I'm going to hold
Crush
it in front of you as it's beating, and then I'm going to shove it back in and be like, see you in 8 months.
The writers are really good at dangling that little string of hope.
Yeah.
They talk a lot about like the gods being like, oh, you take away and get magic, and humans are a plaything. But I really feel like they've become gods, and we are like their playthings.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about it, but I keep coming back for more, so it's my own fault.
And if you guys are watching this live, feel free to join us in the live chat. If you're watching it later, please comment down below your thoughts on this incredible finale. I'm all of these, because I was like, it's a very like, it was an excellent finale, but extremely unsatisfying in a way, because you're just like, no,
It leaves you
I want to
hanging,
wait.
and you didn't get like the
Yeah.
conclusion that you wanted, where it's like they get magic back. It's now there's another problem. Now there's
We did a
another
whole
issue.
7
Yes.
keys quest, and I could not get my Harry Potter closed book. Like, yes,
Yeah.
some goals were accomplished.
You know, let's
Yeah.
do that. Jump forward 5 years. Let's
Yeah.
see them with their children.
No, that's what I'm talking about, Adrian.
I know.
Well, rewind to the beginning. We get more of that gorgeous animation. How happy were we to see that again?
Really pretty.
I was like,
Okay.
oh, always.
Sorry.
I'm always excited. I'm always like, yay, the animation. Since you guys,
love
you know,
it too,
you're in
yeah.
the live action part, how was
Yeah.
it seeing when they did the, like, kind of stop motion this
I mean, it
time?
adds to it. It's so
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. Like I remember doing that scene and like.
Oh yeah, because you were in that scene.
Yeah, I was in that scene, and it was so. It's always fun. Like everybody in the cast, we always
Yeah.
have the best time. Like hearing Jason saying it, like we're just listening to his words, but to have the visualization attached to it makes it that much more impactful and makes it that much more real. And so thought they did an incredible job with it.
I felt a lot like Margot watching this. I was like, yeah, what? So? What is your problem? Like, just spit it out. I was with the people in the room being like, let's get through this.
For once, I'm putting cold water, and I was like, where does this story lead? And who is this person? And how does she feel about things? I'm really invested in her story.
They did such a great job of like comedic breaks. When you were filming it, did it feel, how well did it flow? Or were there pauses of like, we're going to have a thing here? Or.
Well, we're laughing the majority of the time, just like in all honesty, because our cast is hilarious on and off screen, and so I mean, it usually flows, and then there's moments of like comedic breaks, and I think it depends on the scene, but for the most part, everything flows really beautifully because we don't know, we're not picturing the VFX or the amazing art.
Yeah.
That's just put in later, and so we're just like trying to be present to whatever's in the moment, so it just tends to flow as if it wasn't even there.
Yeah. We have our final powwow of everybody. Like, what's our game plan? Which leads us to the Lady of the Tree, who is surprised or happy she finally became full goddess.
Surprised? No.
No.
I was
happy.
like, yeah, she's the goddess. I've called her a goddess since the beginning.
Yeah.
I've loved Julia from the beginning, and I loved seeing her reach her true potential. Also, wardrobe upgrade.
That's what I read that down. I'm like, wardrobe upgrade.
Yeah.
I was like very much against her being a god because I wanted her, all that stuff to just come from within, to just be natural. But I like the way the story had fleshed out.
Yeah.
So at the end, it was her spark. Like, it was just like a gift that was given to her. Like, look, you've been through a lot of shit.
Yep.
Here's just something for you to potentially grow and meditate on. And so to see this transformation, it was a lot of fun to watch her kind of, even like last episode with her raising the trees and stuff, which is really exciting. Like, dang, this is, I said last week, it's like Oprah when she's in A Wrinkle in Time and she's huge, and you're like, this is her true form. We finally get to see it.
Listen,
This is
not
like that.
everyone has seen A Wrinkle in Time yet, okay?
But you see that she's huge in the trailer.
No.
You don't. You definitely
You
do, guys.
don't.
She's on the plane. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Spoiler alert, it's fine.
It's happening. It's out there now. But seeing Julia in her
so
true
sorry.
form and being the goddess like she was supposed to be, it's really amazing.
Well, then
it's good.
it transitions to this sweet moment where we finally get Q and Julia of like, they've gone on this journey as friends forever and they read these books together. And it's like, and then your bestie becomes a goddess.
Yeah.
So
That was such
Yeah.
a sweet
You know.
moment, though.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
that.
I loved that moment. Yeah.
You're making a face over there, y'all.
She
Yeah.
gives him a one-time use magic.
Okay, I had
Yeah.
the same comment.
And he wastes
She could have given him 2, maybe
Yeah.
3,
Right.
maybe
Or
just
like,
magic.
she should have come back and give him another one when they were all in the, because
Yeah.
she came back to help them.
Yeah.
I was like, give him another one off because he wasted it.
Yeah.
With a
Wow, he did not waste it. They could have spent so much time trying to get into the castle if they didn't actually have
the
an
communication.
intelligent way
Yeah.
in. So we don't know. It might have saved them a
They
lot.
could have found another way.
I mean, we don't know that.
The
I
only way we
know
know in the book is that you have to feed these keys to the door knobs, essentially, and then do they magically reappear? Like, to
That was a
Josh's
good
point,
question.
like, there's a lot of fallacies within the book, so
Yeah.
I have a hard time calling it a waste. I do feel like maybe that was a group decision. Maybe address the group to be like, hey, so I have a little bit of magic and we got to get in. What's
Yeah.
the best way?
Yeah,
The
that's a good
Q
point.
is always on hero mode, so
But
he does not
even
slow
if
down.
he had saved it to kill
The god.
the
god.
yeah,
The
the god.
monster.
I almost
The
said the beast,
monster.
but that
The
is
thing.
a completely different
The
character.
monster, you're right.
Yeah.
But like, they did, but that's the thing. Like, he used the spell to figure out how to get in. But even if he didn't use the spell and they had gotten in another way, and then he did kill the monster with it, well, we already know that they still had the God-killing bullet.
Yeah.
And that also didn't work.
But that's a good point, though, because I just said God accidentally, and then you're like, it's a monster. They used the God-killing bullet to try and kill a monster. Right?
Foolish.
I'm just saying.
That's true. There was something about when they first did that scene and Elliot poses how like there are plot holes. And when you were watching it, that's like the previously on. And I was listening to the previously on, and then I watched it. I was like, actually, there are plot holes built into the actual show. Like I was like, is that going to be a paradox that we catch on to later? Because there was just something I noticed of like
what?
Actually, now that I'm trying to think
Such
of what
a-
it was exactly.
Oh,
But there-
like Dean Fogg?
well, Dean Falk wasn't necessarily a plot hole. It's just that you didn't see what he was doing behind the scenes. But there was something, oh my gosh, it'll come to me later. But there's something specifically that I was like, oh yeah, that actually doesn't make any sense because of where we are now. I'm sorry, I'm
That's right. If it
Googling
pops
what
in,
was.
I'd love to know what
But-
that is.
I just noticed like a tiny little plot hole. I was like, maybe that's supposed to be
Yeah.
something we pick up on later or something that like leads
Yes,
to something.
yes.
Those writers are
I
really
was
good at that.
just gonna say that maybe the way into the castle, right? The castle is the black side of their castle.
Yeah.
Black Spire.
Yeah, but like it's built the same kind
Yes.
of.
Yeah.
They know their castle. They have a king and queen of their castle. They could find another way in to the opposite of their castle, so they didn't have to waste the magic. Thank you.
Chat room is curious on these plot holes as well. So if you
That was
remember,
my thought.
Chat also suggests that we call the monster the mistake, which I'm about it, because if the gods created something they couldn't kill, that feels like a mistake. That feels like an uh-oh to me.
I just wrote
Lightly.
because I was like the thing, yeah.
It's just a little accident.
But then in their research, we get the fun moment with Calypso, which was cool.
Yes.
I loved when she came on screen. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but like, I like you.
I hope Calypso becomes like Josh, where we get lots more of her as the series progressed. She was fabulous.
I love that we're meeting all these gods in our world. But they're like, yeah, we have magic and yeah, we're gods, but also I'm an architect.
Yeah.
Also, I throw parties and get kicked off Instagram.
Did anybody ever read Fabletown? It's a graphic novel where all mystical fairy tale creatures live in our world,
About
normal
Fables?
lives. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah, Fables is great.
Uh,
I don't know.
Oh, they
Fabletown,
live in
but I do know-
Fabletown.
There you go.
There we go. Fables.
I have not read this.
They live in Fabletown,
Really,
and
really
it's
good.
like normal people. Like Cinderella has a day job, kind of a thing. And,
Like Once Upon a Time.
yeah, but it's
Or
before
The Big
that.
Bad Wolf is actually the sheriff.
It's much
which is
before
really
that.
great.
Yeah.
All right.
And more expanded. Too.
I have questions
Anyway.
and plot hole information. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
Prometheus. In the story that I know of Prometheus, for a varying number of reasons, potentially depending on which writer you follow, Prometheus gives people fire and the ability to metal work. Then he is chained to a rock where his liver is picked out until Hercules comes along, kills the eagle, and he's able to die. It sounds like something else has happened here.
Okay, my brain just was like activated. Yes, go.
I
continue.
knew you were on the Greek god thing. Fill me in. What happened? What's different with this story and why? Do we know? Do you have thoughts?
The thing is that you can't like. Well, okay, so like at the end, I'm just jumping.
It's
way
hard to
forward.
compare the two.
Yeah, it's hard to compare the two because they do have some differences from like classic Greek mythology. But the whole point of being a god is that like even if you're depleted, even if your power is gone for a bit, you should be able to eventually get it back. Like like that's not like the way to kill a god. It kind of seemed like I was like, oh, it kind of feels like you're just leaving a little space there open for Julia maybe to get her power back at some point.
A couple people in the chat have been saying that.
Yeah,
like, her
because
power
it
will
doesn't
probably
make
come back.
any. Because it takes a lot to kill a god. Usually,
Right.
in most mythologies, it takes another god to kill a
Exactly,
god.
a more powerful god to like
Exactly.
either suppress or kill a god. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Prometheus is a titan, so
Yeah.
conceivably, like, really, really hard to kill.
Like you could like good luck.
Yeah.
So that's another thing of just like. Oh, and then I don't know. That was one of them. But there was like a few things that I was like when I started to think about it, I was like, oh, there's some things that like as far as we've gotten to this point, there are some things that just kind of like the path doesn't make a lot of sense. Like a lot of the stories that were introduced, it seems like it's kind of setting things up for hopefully setting things up for later and not pulling a Lost.
Yeah.
which-
Yeah.
I think what you mean instead of plot holes. I think you mean like they've left things open.
They've left things open, but
Not
they're
like
also
they mess. Like when I think of a plot hole, I think
like,
you
oh,
messed up.
Nah,
Like I got a big old hole in the plot.
But sometimes a plot hole can be something where, like, even how they talked about it in the show was like, there's just a step that was skipped over, a step that you as the audience member did not get to see.
I see.
And so, like Dean Fogg,
Yeah.
where we did not get to see that whole interaction between him and the library. You know, we don't get to see how is it that Alice can still remember who she is at the end of it. So there's little things like that where it's just like, maybe you just didn't get to see this, and that would be considered a plot hole because you as an audience member are not aware of that information.
You guys, while we're talking about messiness and missing things and plot holes, I want to tell you about a show that can help you get your life together, help you get things
yes.
straightened out. If you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life, I have a show for you. We have a podcast. It's called Conversations with Maria Menounos. It is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of your life. For health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more, let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was us, the Magicians After panel, who sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos Podcast Edition. Check it out.
All right.
Yeah.
Quick question. Calypso, someone asked, is the Calypso architect, is Calypso a god?
They
Yes.
said she was an imp,
Okay.
actually.
Yeah, that's why she called her
that's
Callie.
something that I was gonna say. Is just like I feel like you have to take the gods and goddesses with like a grain of salt because it's their own interpretation of it,
Yeah.
right? And they, like, there's been times where they're like, yeah, this is like what Greek mythology said, but that's not the truth. This is really what it is. So you have to like be like, it's
And
a
there's-
different
because
show,
we
it's a
even
different
got that-
story than
Yeah, there's also different, like, there's 20 different interpretations
It's
of most of the
1000%.
stories.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
the Norse stories are the same as the
This
Greek
is
stories
this
and the
is
Roman
21st.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the 23rd. We'll
Yeah,
say.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
the characters even say, when they're talking about Calypso,
I got
they're
it.
like,
It was
oh,
good.
she
It was
captured him for 74 years. But that dude was clearly not captured. He was not being held against his own will. So
No, yeah,
we're
he
obviously
wanted to
getting
be
a lot
there.
of the stories.
So not godlike, but king-like. We got
And
King
yes!
Fen.
Yes!
As the acting High King. How was that?
She's pulling a Tick Pickwick over here. Acting High King.
Better be the high king.
I get it.
I'm sorry.
Stop apologizing.
Okay, very good. Yeah, no, I was pretty psyched about that.
Yeah, and like, yeah, everybody on Twitter was going crazy about it tonight. It was so much fun.
Yeah, no, when I read it in the script, I was like, I think the first thing I asked the writers or the producers was, do I get to wear the crown when we're filming? And they said, yes. And I said, great.
But I remember,
First most important question.
most
Okay.
important. But I remember when we were doing the table read and we're reading it, and I was just like focusing on her. I wasn't looking down at the script at the time, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and I was like, Oh, that's in the script. Because I thought it was her saying that, like she messed up or something.
Oh God.
But no, I'm saying
Life
you're
is
just a great
imitating-
actress, is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
thank you. I thought you were saying that art was imitating life.
That too.
There's
But
also
you're also
that
great
too.
actress.
I have a question for you. As Finn is sitting on the throne and doing her thing, obviously she is doing Margot's bidding, sort of, but how much is her own actions? Like, how much is she taking into account of her own experiences in Fillory? Or is she just a direct line for Margot?
No, I think all of her actions are her own. The power of High King does flow through Margot, so I'm still not 100% sure how that works. So the power itself is coming from Margot, but the decision making and the ruling is coming from Fen, as far as I know so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Cool.
love Fen's story this season. It
Yes.
has been so
Thanks, me
amazing.
too.
She has grown so much.
Yeah.
Talking about quit and growing.
Yes.
Fen grew.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
I loved watching that this season. I loved
Thanks.
seeing her go from, sad and holding wood.
Were you kidding when we first
Literally,
meet?
no,
with my
but
baby?
literally.
Wood.
Yeah, not that kind of.
I'm sorry, your
Talking
baby.
about
It's your
Jane.
baby. It's your baby.
Yeah.
Right.
But even from the introduction of Fen as being kind of this more meek, she's this arranged marriage thing. How has that journey been for you as an actor, going from actually a smaller character to now this pretty prominent figure in the show.
Yeah, I mean, she's grown in every way. Like, I mean, literally the size of the character itself, and also her personality and her beliefs. Because yeah, she starts off as a knife maker's daughter who's promised to this man that she doesn't even know, and it's a very archaic situation going on, and she just goes along with it in this loveless marriage of non-equality, and and then so for me as an actress, like reading the scripts in the beginning in season 2 and the beginning of season 3, when she just kind of goes along with everything, I was like so mad about it, which I'm like, good, I'm taking it personally, so that's a good thing. And then when she finally comes into her own and is more honest with Elliot and makes her own path and you know, runs her own life, that was so satisfying. So, and then she's High King, so let's go back to that.
I loved watching you do the knife sharpening when you got to the real world. It was so. It was very believable.
No. It was terrifying.
Why?
Oh no, I thought you. No,
But also, then we have a couple of things that are hilarious because she like started taking knife sharpening classes.
Yes.
And then she's
great.
like telling everybody, she's like, you want me to sharpen your knives for you? And so she borrows Jason's knife. And then like
I forgot to sharpen it.
And
then I was out of town
sitting for her, and I was like,
Jason needs his knife, so I was like in
I'm
another.
just gonna give him his knife back. It's been months that she's been holding on to this knife, saying she's gonna sharpen it.
But actually, I didn't tell you this yet. I just wrapped this other project, and I actually brought my whetstones to set, and I sharpened the camera guys' knife.
Were they impressed?
Do it.
They were impressed. Well, actually, a little bit. The DP, I didn't realize until I got there, actually does know how to sharpen knives, and I am very new at it. And so after the fact, I was like, you just did that to be nice to me, didn't you? And I know I didn't get it as sharp as he's used to. But then the other camera guy was a little more
very
impressed.
sweet.
They were really nice to
Just
me.
don't steal their knives, is all I'm saying.
I gave them back immediately.
It's so great.
So yeah, life imitating art.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna start wearing a crown soon.
Oh, I mean, I have crowns at home. Don't
Great.
She literally,
What?
she's like a Disney princess, and you are. She like went to Disneyland or Disney World. I'm sorry. Disney
She knows
World,
me so well.
and crafted all of these like Mickey ears. Like one was going for 11 days
customizable.
and wanted 11 of them.
Oh, you know.
I only
Because
made
that's how you
3.
do, right?
Yeah,
I only
but
followed
so
through with
crowns
3.
are normal for me.
She understands. Thank you.
My little Disney princess.
And then a more serious note for Fen is like then dealing with the Fairy Queen and these kidnapped fairies too. And how is it working with the Fairy Queen?
Well, I love Candis Cayne, who plays the Fairy Queen. She's amazing.
And a wonderful
yeah.
human. Everybody dies and everybody comes back to
know.
life on
It's
this
magic.
show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We have the
You never
underworld.
know.
You just never know what's
Yeah,
going to
that's a
happen
good
anymore.
point. That's how we saw
Exactly.
Benedict again, because he was in the underworld. I hope we see more.
Dean Fogg died. I mean, go on.
Oh yeah, everyone died.
Everybody's died and
it's-
come back.
Yeah,
You never know.
It'll be fine.
Anyways, Candice is amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I love Candice. I love working with her. No, it was great for Fen because I mean that's the biggest challenge in Fen's life because it's because of the fairies that her daughter died and she was kidnapped and basically almost all of the traumatic things in her life happened because of the fairies. So for her to be able to completely change her opinions and not only forgive them but rescue them was a big leap for her, and I thought it was awesome. I mean, it's like the most healing thing you could possibly do is forgive and then actually save them. So that was cool. Yeah.
And she goes even further because when we find out Irene and do we catch the traveler guy with her?
Gavin.
Oh, thank you.
Gavin,
I was
yeah.
like, I didn't catch his name.
Jerkface? I think his name is
Yeah,
Jerkface.
right?
Played by
I don't
Daniel
think they
Dean.
say
Yeah,
it much
he's
in the
amazing
show. But like when they're trying to broker the deal, and the Fairy Queen's like, I'm gonna offer myself, and I love how Fen's just like, wait, there has to be another way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's like-
thanks. That was a really emotional scene. That was one
See
of the
tears.
I was crying.
Yeah, no, she looked at me when we were watching it. She's like, "Oh my god!" No, that was me and Candice were there all night, and it was just like really emotional, and I really felt like I was saying bye to Candice, and especially after like hating her in every single scene, basically up until that point, and all of a sudden this very cathartic moment of, "Oh my god, this creature is not just one level evil. Like there's so much more to her, and she's actually incredibly kind and I don't know. She's very complex.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a weird
Kind is the word that I would use. Selfless, maybe.
Selfless sometimes.
Not
I know
kind.
it's like hard to say. I don't know how I I don't know how to describe
Committed
her.
to her people.
Committed
Yes.
to her people.
There you go.
And not to me.
I like everyone's calling Gavin jerkface.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes.
Take
They're
it.
all like,
Take
now.
it.
Just like now.
I guess
He's such a
my question
sweetheart.
was,
He is.
what did she whisper?
Oh,
I think it was a whisper.
I don't believe she was whispering. I think
I
she
thought it
just
was just a kid.
I
kissed
thought it was
me
a
on the
kiss,
cheek.
yeah.
Matthew Nicholson had
It looks like a whisper.
Matthew Nicholson in the chat had a
I was watching
theory
a
that
very
the
small
tear of an enemy might be an ingredient for a spell.
Oh.
Oh, I love that. That's
Right?
cool.
That's super exciting.
I have questions about how fairies work.
Sure.
All right,
I don't
we'll
know
try
if
to
anyone
answer
here.
it.
Well, let's see.
anyone
Lay
is
it on
aware.
us. Yeah.
So
fairies.
if the queen is sacrificing herself to save her people,
Yes.
does she not then decide who the next queen is before she does this? Who is the next fairy queen?
Oh, well, that's, I don't think we have
no,
that
I
figured
definitely
out.
don't
We haven't
know.
gotten into
But
their
could we
technically
assume that there will be a new fairy
Yeah.
queen?
Because her
Potentially,
her
anything's
mother
possible.
was the fairy queen.
Yeah.
So,
Does she have a?
well, that's the thing about how they couldn't
Maybe. Oh, they
actually
couldn't make
produce
babies.
in the fairy realm, and so that's why they're planting their seeds.
Fen is the new fairy queen.
I'm the High King and the Fairy
Done.
Queen.
You're wielding a lot of power out here, Fen.
You're
Go for being a
welcome.
That would
Florian
actually-
peasant.
Well, you're not wrong on the whisper thought. A lot of other people are thinking
Yeah, a lot
that too
of
in the
us-
chat.
a lot of us thought
They're
that.
like,
I
that was a
know
whisper.
it's a kiss. But I will say, she was like frolicking in the fairy costume through the forest.
Yes.
Olivia got
I
a video
was-
of it. Or did you get a video of it?
Remember the music video that I made? I made a music
Oh,
video
that.
Oh, wow.
for the entire cast and crew for to Do You Believe in Magic? And so I forced this one in her
Wow.
fairy costume to like frolic through the woods. It was so magical.
Felt pretty natural. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
So I'm just saying she would be an amazing fairy queen.
Where can we find this music video?
Right.
I'm trying to
Are you
figure
gonna
out
put
if
it
we
out?
Post.
Can you?
I think we can.
Well, maybe now that the show's
now that
done.
the show's
Yeah,
now that
This
the show's
season.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
excited
so-
about it.
Everyone in the chat is saying that Frey should be the next
Yeah.
fairy queen.
I was
There
thinking
we
that
go.
too.
But Frey is also not fairy.
No.
No,
fine.
she's not. She's human.
Just clarifying.
Yeah.
But we're breaking,
Yeah,
you
we're
know,
breaking all kinds of
boundaries
new ground.
everywhere.
Her and her new
Yeah.
husband, the
Getting
bear.
getting a little bit ahead, but quick question that for Jade. Someone, Jack in the chat says, by the way, is it drugs or is Katie dealing fairy dust at the end?
Oh, excellent
That is a
question.
good question. I will tell you that I was told that it was drugs.
Okay.
But
But would Katie even
And
know?
you
I was
Up
gonna
for
say, it
grabs.
seems like they don't know
But
anything about
I-
magic in
Yeah.
whatever world we are in the last
yeah,
part.
so basically like that's I mean we don't have
It seems like.
The core group doesn't know anything
Yeah.
about magic, but
Yeah.
magic is back. It's just controlled by the
Right.
librarians.
All right.
yeah.
We'll
so,
get there.
We'll
if
get
that
there.
answers your
I have
question.
thoughts.
Yeah. I'm like, how much can I tell you? Right now?
Yeah.
So you were told it's drugs.
I was told it's drugs, and there's a
But
great
isn't-
purpose to that.
Ooh.
I will find out next season.
Great
Ooh.
purpose.
Get
Lecture.
real deep.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah, you will.
We have a short role for the character of Aura, but I really like that
I
character, the Knight.
freaking love her, Alex. She's so great.
I
She's
would
a
like.
great. I want her back.
I want more of the Lady Knight. She was
Yeah.
super awesome.
Yeah.
I liked her look. I liked her whole background story of like stepping into her father's role,
Yes.
becoming better than him. Like, can we release that novel? I will read it.
Yeah, I love that.
Um,
Okay.
Yeah.
And even just the short like snippets we got with her in the cast, particularly the parts where she's like, so now I have to put on a face so I can play with this crazy person I've been living with for 1,000
Yeah.
years. Hold please. I was like, this
Yeah.
is awful,
Yeah.
horrible, amazing stuff.
I know. I really want her back. I really love Alex.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Well, once he
Definitely
said
think she could be.
once Calypso said the thing about like how she locked her into watching over her father, I was like,
I thought it was her
that's
dad.
So sad. That means that her father was probably possessed
Oh,
at one
jeez.
point.
That's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how they got locked in, and then other people came to rescue them, and then they got killed, and that's how I got locked
Yeah.
in.
And then I was, how bamf is she that she got all 7 keys? Our crew had to get 7 people to get the whole quest. She did it all by herself.
Because women are ride or die.
Yeah, that too.
Because she's a knight.
Yes.
And she's she's badass.
We have the, what was the, okay, so we
I'm
touched.
sure all the women could have done it on their
That's actually
Yeah.
without Quinn.
Yeah.
too many
Alice
Coke
definitely could,
certifications.
like, if Alice would have had this done in 2 seconds, she'd have been like, hold everything, I'm on it.
Do you really
Julia,
want
come on.
Niff and Alice to have those keys?
I don't,
After
but
what you
also
just
I
saw,
kind
do you really
of
want
do.
Niff and Alice?
She's like a
Yeah.
Do you
sociopath
want to talk
on.
about Alice and those keys? Are we there? Tell me when.
Yeah, we're there.
Going down.
So let's go for it. So we have all the keys, and then they're about to do it, and then it's like, nope. Alice is like,
I'm
I got a
sorry.
plan.
Just because you have a problem does not mean you get to decide everybody
That the whole
else.
world doesn't get magic, like
Right.
I said.
I'm sorry.
That's your line. Very
It
good.
was. It's Look,
Yes.
Katie is an addict. Katie never told the rest of the team who likes to drink and smoke as much as they want, hey, I'm an addict, therefore none of you get to partake. No, because Katie is respectful. Alice has never been respectful. She was always the best, and she was trying to dumb herself down. If we remember in season 1, she was like, I'm always holding myself back. And now, that girl? She is taking away their power. She has no rights to do so.
No.
Well, and what's worse is her argument is so flim-flammy. She was like, well, nobody can control
Nobody
themselves, so nobody gets
did.
it. But you gave it to an all-powerful secret organization. Like, is that really better?
Well, I think
she went
originally
back
she
on that,
wasn't wrong in that
Yeah,
most of the people, when they get magic, kind of go crazy with it. And absolute power corrupts.
But that's
absolutely.
their decision to
Julia.
go crazy.
Julia's a perfect
Yeah.
example.
But that's the thing is, like, you know, I guess I was more upset with the fact that we watched Julia, like, get this power and possess this power only for her to, like, give it all up at the very end of the season.
That's
For
not all gone.
Alice's mistake.
That's not all
And I
gone.
was kind of like, ugh, please don't make that the case. Like, please
Oh,
just
yeah,
make
no, I hope
something
it comes
locked in,
back.
locked
But
away,
it
and
felt
comes
like she
back
was
'cause
fulfilling
of-
I agree
Like
with
that
you.
was her destiny.
like her destiny.
Not necessarily her, but fulfilling a prophecy.
It was
like,
her part of the quest.
if Prometheus left this magic in the hopes that the only people who'll be able to resolve magical issues and potentially save gods in the future is humans, and then another god, presumably somewhat in the know, is like, so I choose this human to give like a spark of knowledge to, in the hopes that hopefully she'll use her power for good, which she has done consistently. She didn't shoot
Yeah.
a rapist.
She's
How?
not born a god.
Yeah.
She's given it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was my only kind of like, oh, that kind
I
of upset
agree.
me. But at the same time, like Q23 Beast Quentin
Yeah.
did say that, you know, I know that you're going to do this thing. So we kind of knew that the monster was coming out. Like,
It's
it was like,
true.
okay, well, no matter what, this is what's going to happen. Like, it kind of sucks, but however it goes about, it's going to happen. I just was kind of like, now they don't even know who they are? How many episodes do I have to watch of them not knowing who they are? I was like, damn it!
I assume that Alice now being prisoner in the library gets us back to Alice, who is crazily writing.
Yes.
Right?
Cassandra.
Yeah.
That she ends
Her
up
name was
becoming eventually
Cassandra,
becoming
Yeah.
Cassandra.
Yeah,
It
crazy
did seem
Alice.
like we were running
With
two
the long
Too
hair.
bad.
Yeah.
It seemed like we were running two parallel storylines by the end of this, because the Dean Fogg plot points that I was pointing out were like, the Dean goes to the librarian to try to get magic.
bells
He
back.
has his eyesight and no scarring around his eyes,
Yeah.
and he's not intoxicated, which leads me to believe that we aren't in the same timeline
Julia
as we
fixed
currently
it.
We got
Fixed it.
She
fixed
fixed
it.
them.
Julia
But he's
healed it.
asking for magic prior to Julia fixing it. I thought anyway.
No, it wasn't. It was once the siphon's already in place, and it's essentially their brown outs, power outs, and he needs more.
I did think it was I thought it was weird that he still continued with that agreement, which I assume he made while he was still blind. But I guess I assumed it was weird
That's
that he would
probably
ever
older.
make that agreement to begin with, because the whole point was that they wanted magic back, and if magic is flowing
Yeah.
freely, like I don't understand his motives completely behind giving it to
Yeah,
the librarians.
very confusing.
Just so that they can kind of
Yeah.
control break bills in a sense.
Well,
Maybe
well,
it's a
all,
way
everywhere.
to
I
get
think-
break bills back from the McAllisters. Wait, is that their name? Or
Yeah.
am I-
Yeah.
I think the library is like supposedly impartial. I know. I think
Mildly
that's the
that.
idea.
But we know you had a fairy battery, which meant you could not possibly be impartial. You were very active in the assassination and murder of a ton of people.
Yeah.
Like,
Right, but to
evil.
be
Sorry.
impartially helping.
Can I just comment that I just connected the McAllisters to Home Alone? And
Yeah.
that
Oh, yeah.
they do
Good.
something with that. It just like it popped into my head. I was like, McAllisters, that can't be right. Like Home Alone?
Nice.
Oh, that's right.
No,
I
you're
know.
right.
I got that like the first time. I was like, oh,
So how frustrating is then for you guys seeing it in terms of like this essentially betrayal of Dean Fogg to our team? It's like, what?
I mean, it was really surprising, but also like to your point that like you don't understand his motivation, but I think like that's the part that's most frustrating. Is like not knowing, but I think it's like intentionally that way. It feels like it's intentional that we don't know exactly what the motivation is, because that does leave it open-ended for something else to come in and something else to happen. And also like we have no idea.
I really have no idea.
So everybody else's frustration is always also ours, because we're like, well, what's gonna happen to our character? We don't know. Like, what is gonna happen? Like you said, like, are we just gonna not know who we are for the first 4 episodes?
I know who I am.
Yeah,
I don't know about you.
So
but I
Fenn
mean,
is
for me,
still-
I was really worried because
Yeah.
I was like, oh, really? She's a drug dealer?
Yeah.
Really? Like, you can't, like, do something positive and, like, take her out of this, like, perpetual cycle, and I want to do something inspiring for once. And
Maybe she was selling like
but
candy.
she might
I mean, you don't
do
know for
something
sure.
different. I can't say what, but there is something. There's something else that's going on
That I'm gonna know,
you're gonna know
and no one
about it.
else.
Jane, I love these little kernels you're giving us.
Wait, so Fenn is still going to be king in Fillory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she
Because-
knows who she is.
Right, because
Yes.
she wasn't there.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
Because
She was
now
busy with
Margot
it.
is Janet, so
Right.
Yeah.
there's no king.
So yeah, Margot
And
is
then-
Janet.
Fenn's
And
gonna
then-
be real
And
confused.
then Elliot's the monster.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So-
Julia has a nice job and looks like she's well settled.
great.
She looks
teacher.
fantastic.
She's like working in some type of
Center for the Arts.
so
Yeah.
like a social.
And then Katie Drugs. We have
Communal
Q.
Katie looks like shit, and everyone else
No,
looks.
she didn't actually look bad though. I was kind of worried. I'm like, oh
I
great,
know.
she's gonna
Yeah,
look all
I
the way.
know. No, you touched
No,
my
but they could have made it like more.
She's doing really well as a drug dealer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
You
that
have
means
an
she doesn't do
empire.
as much drugs then.
Maybe.
Well,
Maybe you're
I
not
mean-
doing them. You're just selling
Yeah.
them, and
well,
you're really
I will
rich.
say that, like, at first, they were throwing out all these different ideas. So when they first threw out the idea to me, they're going to be like, you're super drugged out.
Oh wow.
And, like, I was like, really? Are you serious? I was like, oh, God. And usually I'm the one that's like, yeah, whatever you guys want, I'll do anything. And I just, like,
Yeah.
that was the one thing I did not want to do.
Yeah.
But then it changed because I think their idea of what they want to happen at the beginning of next year shifted. So I can't tell you anything about that. But
She's such a
but
little
it's,
tease.
I know, it's so great.
Just like her
Art
dance.
imitating life. I'm just kidding. Sorry, she's been whispering that in my ear for the past like 30 minutes. So
No.
throwback. Yeah, but no, it's so we really don't know
Yeah.
where all the characters are going and
Yeah.
what this means for them. We're as
Yeah.
blindsided for the most part as everybody else is.
I knew something was up, strangely enough, because I checked Jason Ralph's Instagram, I think, something, or I saw him like at the Golden Globes and he had a haircut, and I was like, oh, what do they do?
Good.
But he hasn't
has
wanted
his
to cut his
hipster
hair for the
beanie. And I
longest time.
He's probably been wanting to cut his hair for
So
a
a lot.
while.
There's like days where I'm like, I'm just gonna cut it off and dye it something. And they're like,
You can't do
like,
that,
"Don't
sir.
you dare."
Katie's hair.
Yeah.
Now, Jade, you kind of touched upon it of like what Katie's had to go through for you as an actor. What's that process been like? Because Katie has had major ups and some severe downs. How has that process been?
I don't know. It's
Like,
like
it's been
rainbows
fun.
and butterflies.
Right.
No, it's cakewalk. Yeah. No, it's been an intense year. I mean, but I mean, we've seen her throughout her 3-year journey so far, and every year has been intense. Truly, like year 1, she loses her mom. Year 2, loses her best friend and is betrayed. You know, so it's never ending. Really, this is a sort of the same perpetual cycle that she's been in. I will say. I mean, losing the love of your life and then finding out that they're actually alive, it's a really challenging, I can imagine that it's a very challenging thing, but to try and understand what that would be like for somebody.
And then it's not the same love you had. That this is a person who doesn't even know you exist, who's not in love with you. So you have to see their face every day.
It was so complex, but it was so much fun to delve into those layers and
What
the
was
depths
it
of it.
like meeting Penny 23?
Yes.
Yeah, that was actually really fun because it's a lot like calmer and sweeter, that Penny 2023.
Not
and
towards your character.
not towards mine, yeah. I mean, no, nicer, a little, well, yeah, I mean, I guess you're
It's
right.
not sweeter.
Yeah, not sweeter. But, yeah, but just his demeanor and it was really fun to play with that, and like, but also really challenging because I'm like, how would somebody feel if they're looking at somebody and they're the person that they love, yet it's not the person that they love? I could imagine it was something like somebody that you love having Alzheimer's or something like that, where like they don't remember you,
forget who you are,
and like how that would make you feel, and then how do you deal with that, and how do you approach it, and like knowing that it's not a personal thing. So you see in one of the episodes, are going like, I don't blame you, and like realizing it's not really the Penny that she loves, yet still fighting to find him the one that she does love, and what that means. But I think it'll be nice to see, and well, who knows, but maybe to see Katie just on her own, and what it's like for her to be a human being without trying to save her mother or save Julia or save Penny. Like, who is she beyond that? And so I think it'll be really interesting and fun to see.
Yeah, when she's no longer the savior.
Exactly, yeah.
The fighting cock. There we go. I was like, where did the fighting cock go?
You mean
the magnificent cock?
The magnificent
fighting
cock.
cock is a type of whiskey. My apologies. But,
I see where your head's at.
Yeah.
Great cock?
the great cock.
I'm being
great
told
cock.
it's the great cock.
The great cock.
The magnificent cock. What?
The great-
Thank you,
the great
Chelsea.
cock.
It is the great cock.
It's just an
It
excuse
can
to
be a
say
magnificent cock if you wanted to be.
He loves
Or a
all of
magnificent
those.
cock if you wanted to be that
Fantastic
too. A strong cock.
So that was the plot hole.
Sorry, that was the thing that I was like, where does he lie in this? Like,
Okay.
where did he go?
Good
That's okay.
question.
That's sorry. I was listening to you actively,
Yeah.
and then my head just went.
Cock.
Real quick.
And then you know the conversation we have kind of started.
So Jade, a lot of people in the chat are it's a very common thread that poor Katie, that just like she's had to go through so much.
Yeah.
Everybody feels for her and wants like better things to happen. It's just
Me
been
too.
so sad. And then it went a bit further up, but they really appreciated how they handle a character with like depression and addiction.
You're saying. Yeah, I appreciate that because I mean that's a thing that like I know what that's like, and my intent is to always honor anybody that's going through those circumstances in the most honest and authentic way. So because like I want people to know that they're not alone, and this is something that like people deal with every day, and for our fans and people that are going through it to be able to relate to her, I think can be healing in a lot of ways, and also, I just hope that I'm honoring it, and that I'm respecting people that are going through that in the best way possible.
That's one thing that I always say the show gets right, is that the way it handles those like delicate topics, like the way it handles like post-traumatic stress disorder after rape, or the way it handles addiction, is not something you really get to see on television. Usually the way, like, I remember I watched a show, I won't name it, where there was someone who suffered from alcoholism, and they like set it up at the top of the episode that, this is like the part of their life and they were dealing with it, and then by the end of the episode he's at a bar and he just takes a shot of whiskey, and there's no explanation behind it, there's no like struggle with it, he just does it, and I was like, why would you set that up and then just like be so careless with it at the end? And I just appreciate that the show is never careless with those topics.
I agree. I think it's what makes this show really, really special is they honor that, and they respect that, and they honor every kind of person in every kind of scenario. Yeah. And and knocking down social like societal norms.
Including the fairy queen, who's like this kind of outsider looking in, who is essentially powerless. All she has is the ability to make deals with people. And we talked a little bit a couple episodes ago when we started, when we learned about her people and their struggle, and we were like, man, we didn't think that we could like someone like that from the beginning of the season to now. To
Except
even
me.
I didn't know. And then from that moment until the end, like, I shed a tear for her too. But like it was maybe the greatest sacrifice, particularly when you think of how her mother died in the exact same way. Still, like, the fact that she still has to carry that struggle and still try to save her people reminded me a lot of some things that we're going through in the actual real world right now. And
Conversations we've definitely had about like fairy queens and how they correlate to things. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what we're
Wait,
talking
elaborate.
about.
I want to hear this.
We compared it a lot to the Black struggle in America and the idea of being haunted or lynched in our case, and then how that evolved over time and how it hasn't really changed. It's just how people look and how the murders happen are very different, which is the same thing that she's kind of going through. Today, she literally laid down her life so that no one ever has to hurt in her community again. Like that is
these guys saying that
so enormous and beautiful. And I in a show that talks so much about sacrifice, I thought that was kind of beyond and so beautiful.
A good point and a different note. Quite a few people in the chat were pointing out Marina's alive in this timeline now, and does Katie know yet?
No.
Yeah.
And that's the fun thing. It's like
She hasn't
anything,
really been back much.
anything that the audience knows, Katie likely doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just, but that's fun to play with too.
Yeah.
So no, she does know.
So how do we all feel at the end where nobody really remembers anything? And we get creepy Elliot because he has the
Elliot,
monster thing.
I just want to say
Yes.
the way Hale delivered "Will you play with me?"
So-
was it, like my heart like reached out and was like, "I'll play with you."
That is not what I was expecting.
What's wrong? Like, it was like, I was like,
You like kids, don't you?
I do. Well, a part of me
psychopaths.
does. A part of me is like, oh my God, here, take your child, go away. But a part of me is
He
like,
was pretty adorable.
It was like,
In
that
the
was just,
creepiest
like,
way.
It was
and
so creepy.
But it was also like a sadness to the way he said it.
Yeah.
Which made me
It was
kind of
genuine, too.
You know, I'm always looking to like be like, so the fairy queen, what's going on with that? Is she okay? But and so I guess for me, I was kind of like, what is this monster?
Yeah.
Where I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
This dude's gonna be crazy. Let's be real. But like, what is this monster who's like leading line is, "Will you play with me?" And like, well, what does that mean? And what is that about? And like, so I'm
what
just
does
really
playing
fascinated.
mean
What does
exactly?
playing mean? And like, is it
felt very much
the
like
wrath thing?
yeah, the entire thing that you're locked in with the monster. You're literally stuck babysitting, and to me, someone who is not a fan of children, I was like, this sounds like hell. What a torturous idea! The monster is a child, and you have to take care of it and coddle it and play games with it and feed it and help
That's
it sleep.
so
This sounds
funny.
awful.
For
And you know what it sounded
1,000
to me?
years.
It sounded like addiction. When we talk a lot about this show and the different people and how they face their addiction. So we have the very obvious ones, which are substance abuse, but Alice is addicted to first like burying herself and disappearing, and then to magic, and then to power. Q's addicted to first the books and then adventure.
And being a hero.
Yeah, all that. So the idea of this all-consuming thing that just cannot be stopped, I think we're going to be doing a lot more introspective into their kind of subconscious and the struggles that they've been dealing with and haven't been as open about.
I think the monster almost sounded like especially in the second viewing, I was like, it sounds like the personification of the 7 deadly sins. Like the will you play with me, and then the kind of at the end where he's like, we're gonna throw all this wrath upon people, and I was like, oh, that's a sound. And so I was it just kind of like, and then the fact that it wants so much and like envy and that kind of thing, so like desire to jump into people's bodies, desire to like be needed. I was like lust, and so that kind of, so I mean that'd be really cool. Yeah, it was like just
would be.
personification of the 7 deadly sins, because that's one. I mean, it would be an awesome actor challenge, but also probably an exhausting actor challenge.
Yeah, actually, speaking of that, almost
So.
everyone this season has gotten to play other versions of themselves or grow. Like Ben started off like more inward, and then
And then she went to New York.
Yeah,
and it was
so
amazing.
gotta go to New York. Yeah.
Emojis.
Went to the square of time.
I'm curious, and let me know your thoughts. I want to know what happens to the host of this monster, because the other time we saw it jump out is that person fell to the ground. We can assume
Well, 'cause
maybe
they
died.
got
Because they were
shot.
shot and they died.
Regardless
then
of
it
the
was
bullet
in
being
Alice.
a god bullet, it was
But we
still
don't.
a bullet.
No, true.
Yeah,
So what happens to the host? What is it like as you, the prisoner in your own body, of how aware are you? Because there's different things of possession or
Right.
what are they called when you parasites, like
parasitic.
and so it's like, how aware are you in there? Because that's creepier, is if you are fully cognizant and then like just watching this happen, or
We've
are
had
you
a
like
lot of different
asleep?
kind of possessions this
Yeah.
season too, from the weird fishy scaly hook creature that I can't remember but was terrifying. It had the big mouth.
Lamprey?
Yeah.
The Landry.
The Lamprey.
Yeah, Lamprey.
The thing
Never
that
again.
blows up the kittens?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then even Alice
Yeah,
in the
when
things.
the lamprey is close to the
Yeah.
Or when
That was
she
awful.
possessed.
I know.
And then,
That's
like,
Quentin last.
to get the monster out, does it go voluntarily, or do you have to kill the host? So, like,
I would imagine that it depends. I think,
Or can
you
they
know,
pull
out
it
of
out?
desperation, it could probably jump into another person, like
Yeah.
when they're dying, when the body's dying.
Yeah.
Or, you know, if it's a host situation, maybe it can, sorry, I think about this kind of stuff,
Hmm.
but like, it could just like,
Yeah.
and go into you.
Yep.
Pass
and
off.
maybe the other person could die there, or they could
Yeah.
just be, you know, you could essentially just be like a husk that it can fill when it wants to.
What's
once
that?
it's
What's
been
that?
touched by you.
Oh my God, the X-Men character that changes.
Legion.
Mystique.
Thank you, Mystique.
Yeah.
Mystique. It's
I
like,
thought you were going with
you
Legion
know,
earlier.
just in an instant, just changes from persona to persona.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It
know
makes
what I
me
mean?
wonder too, if it is like a husk situation. I hate that word, by the way.
I know.
Ugh,
but,
hate it.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's irrelevant to what I'm trying to say.
It's like
I hate
a
the
y-
word husk.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder the young man who we first meet as the creature, the whatever. Like, who is that young man?
Yeah, I assumed it was one of the people that was there
Yeah.
originally.
Oh,
and
one of the
then-
other bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
got murdered. And I assume like the first person to be like possessed was her father,
probably.
and then but I don't know.
And then a lot of people brought up, and we haven't quite talked about yet. So does Margot's fairy eye still work?
Probably, I think that'll be a fun thing for
I mean,
her
she
to
still
like
has 2 eyes.
discover.
Well, not that, but
But
it was
has
magic.
Janet.
It's
It has
magic.
Janet. It's still
I
I
magic.
remember. I missed the eye patches.
Yeah.
She is going to be confused
Yeah.
with that
Right?
eye.
Or maybe
works.
that's what gives her the success and gets her like a chauffeur and stuff. Is
You're
that
right.
She can
Yeah.
see what other
And
people
she is a
can't
little
see.
sociopathic, so
Josh.
she'd be like, whatever gets me ahead.
Yeah.
I kind of want to stay with Boss Margot as she is
Yeah.
the perfect woman. She is so amazing. I also have questions about Dean Fogg. Still, yes. Was it my imagination? Did I miss something? Or did he have like a secret meeting with the librarian that we didn't see the full
Yeah,
scope
no,
of?
the super meeting.
That's what we were talking about, the loophole. I was like, there's probably something else that we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there
'cause he's like,
wasn't-
we've got to talk about it. Then he maybe set up a second deal to not have the guys killed or something. I feel like that deal is going to have like huge ramifications, and I need to know what happened.
Well, he did say, and when you go back and watch the scene with Alice when he's telling her about the potion, it was very conveniently introduced.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but I was like, I'm gonna give you that. He says like, you know, that will be it, but he doesn't say there isn't a loophole.
Yeah.
And there is, I think there is something to be said about the fact that he's like determined to see Alice, like he wants
Yeah.
to talk to her at least,
Exactly.
and just who knows.
I need the information.
We're pretty much at the end of our time. Were there any final thoughts on your experiences for this season? Brittany, you had joined us before. If there's anything else you can remember, and then Jade, any final thoughts on what season 3 has been like for you?
I mean, it's been incredible. It's been an incredible journey in every way. I mean, behind the scenes, we have the best cast and crew and writers, producers, less creatives. We're really, really lucky. I think our producing director said today, he's like, I can't even call it work. And I was like, it's so true. It's just like, it's the greatest gift. And then as far as like the work itself, it's been an honor to be able to delve, for my character in particular, to go through so many difficulties like she was, like I said before, to honor people that are going through circumstances like that, whether it is the loss of a loved one or addiction, mental health issues, any of those things. And so, so it's been quite a journey. And but like I will say to our fans, like we also don't know what's going to happen, so we're right there with you.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what does happen in season 4. Really excited.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah.
All that.
And then also, I was like, no, because I always
And
like
the
to
musical
ask.
episode. because
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that I will say though, just like because that just came up.
Yeah?
That was a dream come true.
All
That
right.
was like
I loved your
everything.
sexy number so much. I
Yes.
came and visited set that day
Thanks.
just to watch her.
Yep.
And you, I know
Grab
you're
parts.
you're a big singer.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that you will be doing a special karaoke night
I will
at Universal Fan Con in Baltimore at the end of the month.
Absolutely, we both are.
Yeah, and I
I'm
think
so
other
excited.
cast members of the
Nice.
Magicians.
Yeah.
So anyone in Baltimore,
Yeah, Riz.
Universal Fan Con at
Yeah.
the end of this month, tickets are still available.
They
so
still
Yeah.
miraculously
Make sure
still
you
available.
come.
Come
Yeah.
visit us,
Yeah.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
Sing with us. Yeah, and Riz and Sergio will be there too.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta
Fun.
Baltimore.
yeah.
So you guys are all coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not really, but we're gonna try.
So,
be
any
there.
other
You'll be
quick
there.
thoughts on the end before we wrap up?
I'm excited to see what's gonna happen, and then I can do 3 episodes max of them not knowing who they are before. So
I can't do that.
I like
about
2. Like,
It's gonna be 8 months and 3 episodes. Can you handle that?
I didn't think I
I'm
could
sorry. Did I just like?
Yeah.
I didn't think I could do a whole
twist the
season
knife?
with them on so little magic, and yet it was still kind of amazing.
It was
With season
true.
3, and then just the journey to try to get magic back, the importance of what magic means to them. Like, I genuinely cannot wait to binge watch this season over again, because I want to review the thing with the cock. I want to review Alice in the, like, she's giving them all of these clues as they're reading the paper.
Yeah.
She's like, you're not listening. I'm like, I'm listening now. I know the end. I want to see what happens. And they always give you these like little kernels and nuggets throughout. When you rewatch, you're just like, oh my God. So kudos to the writing team. I don't know how you guys do this. It's amazing.
Well, this was the season I realized was like, oh crap, I should have gone back. I don't have time like that and watched the whole season
all the way.
because then I could connect everything. But yeah, it's something that you have to go back and watch, which I appreciate. I appreciate when a
Power to
show's
the
written
show.
where that's like we can come back and catch things you didn't catch before.
Just to throw back to what you were saying about like there not being magic, I think that was the beauty of this season in particular, because it forced you to really get to know the characters and the relationships on a deeper level.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really special.
Also, have Fenn and Katie ever met?
No,
ever?
and I can't wait.
Yeah, we've literally never met.
I know.
Just thinking about that.
And
Well,
we
because Katie
can't
never
stop
goes
hanging out.
to
outside of it.
Fillory, right?
Not
No,
yet.
not yet.
Oh, you
And
haven't been to
Fenn?
Fillory?
Well, now
I've
she
been to
has.
Fillory a little bit. Like
Now
I went
she
to like
has.
get
She's
Julie
in-
out of a dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Well,
little things.
She's in
Blackfire.
Upside Down.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
upside
duh.
down.
Even when Finn was in,
But we've never met.
US.
the US
In New York,
or
yeah.
New York, you were in the asylum at that point, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly. So we haven't
Ships
met
in the
just-
night.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Gonna
Well,
happen.
well, we
Like
look
2 peas
forward
in a
to that
pod.
episode. We
Yeah.
mentioned the convention coming up soon, but
Yeah.
any other quick projects you have coming up, and where can people find you online
Projects.
that you can talk about?
I was like,
Not right now.
I was like, oh wait, we can't. I don't know if we can talk about this. Yeah, well, you can find us online. I mean, we're always on Instagram. So
Always. Yeah, it's my name, Brittany Curran, on Instagram and Twitter, and
Mine is
Jade.Tailor on Instagram and Jade Tailor on Twitter.
Nice. She's a good
She
friend.
knows this. She's a great friend.
And we look forward to the convention and season 4.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you
too.
so much for coming. It
Of
was so
course,
fun
thanks for
talking
having
about
us.
the show.
Yeah.
And then where can everybody find all of you all?
Yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Adrian Snow. You can also catch me at ACB on Sunday nights for the Mess Hall show at 7 p.m. if you're an LA local. And you can catch me on the Unproduced Table Read Friday mornings here on Popcorn Track. I lost the energy at the end.
It's okay.
I'm Yael Tygiel. Thanks for letting me join
Yes,
your
thanks
show.
for coming.
I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. I will also be at Universal Fan Con
Yes, you will.
in Baltimore at the end of the month with these lovely ladies doing their panel. Also, I am here starting on Sunday. We're doing the Legion season premiere, and then we're switching to this time slot. We are taking it starting next week for Legion. Also, SVU on Saturdays. Nope. Thursdays. Yep.
Days, what are they?
SVU.
Hi guys, I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique, every week at blackgirlnerds.com. I believe next Monday I'm Heroes over at Collider. If not, it's the following Monday. You'll find me, whatever. Come back tomorrow, circa this time for Atlanta. If you're not up on Robin season, you need to get into it. It is the best, and that panel is so much fun. And
Go
of course,
rob
we
some
only have
stuff, man. Just go steal some
seriously.
crap.
We only have 2 episodes left of Black Lightning, which is earlier in the day today. You can go back and watch our episode from earlier. It's a lot of fun. All black female panel. Check it out.
Awesome. And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. Thank you so much for tuning in live. We loved having you in the live chat. Please comment down below your thoughts on the episode. And exciting new shows coming up. Expanse is coming up. Legion, Westworld, and Handmaid's Tale are all coming back. I'll be on those shows, so stay tuned. Follow me on social media because some of them are shifting days and everything. So again, thank you so much for watching. And I guess we'll see you all next season.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.